Tonight on CTV News at 6, a serious crash involving a police cruiser. 118 Ave shut down following the afternoon collision. Family reaction to a life sentence for a man who stabbed two teenage girls.
Being able to speak today and say how this has all affected me, that helped to lift some of that weight off my chest.
And soggy start. Rain on the first day of Folk Fest.
Lots of rain gear.
Lots of stuff wrapped in plastic.
Tomorrow should look a lot like today, as we've got some more showers in the forecast tonight and again tomorrow.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. A major North Edmonton intersection has reopened after a crash that involved a police cruiser. It happened in the intersection of 118th Ave and 97th Street, affecting all directions. Our Nav Sanga is there now, but what can you tell us about the crash?
Police say a police cruiser with its lights and sirens on was involved in a crash with a civilian vehicle. Now, when I first arrived at the scene earlier, we saw the devastation to the cruiser. The front of the cruiser was absolutely destroyed, and inside you could see that the airbags were completely deployed. The Honda Civic actually continued after the crash and hit a parked pickup truck. It was wedged underneath there. The airbags in that vehicle were also deployed. Now, this happened all around 2 p.m. The intersection at that time was completely closed off, but now it is back open. The major collisions unit was also here taking pictures, and officers were seen at the intersection picking up broken parts from the ground. And now the tow trucks, just before we got to air, actually took both vehicles away. Now, 2 officers and a passenger in the police car, as well as this driver of the Civic, were all injured, but they were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Jeff?
All right, Nav, thank you. That's Nav Sanga live for us tonight. A 29-year-old man has been sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 12 years. Kai Randall pleaded guilty today to stabbing 2 teenage girls who considered him a father figure in July 2024. One of the girls died from her injuries. CTV's Jeremy Thompson was in the courtroom for the sentencing.
The courtroom was heavy with grief as family of the 2 teenage victims came to see this case through. 29-year-old Kai Randall's family was also there. He waved to his mother before pleading guilty to second-degree murder and aggravated assault. Randall had been common-law partners with Kayla Chason for 3 years, living together in the Riverside neighborhood in St. Albert. He was a father figure to Chason's daughter and niece, who also lived with them. An agreed statement of fact says Randall was high on cocaine on the July evening last year when he attacked the teenage girls with a kitchen knife while his partner was at work. He stabbed the older girl, 17-year-old Jaden Chason, 21 times, then attacked 13-year-old Brooklyn Janes in her bedroom. 2 days later, Jaden died in hospital. Wearing a T-shirt with her daughter Jaden's picture on it, Nicole Chason took several deep breaths before reading her victim impact statement into the record. "I will spend more years missing you than I got to spend with you," she told the court. "I will grow older as you stay frozen in time."
It's not going to go away, but being able to speak today and say how this has all affected me, that helped to lift some of that weight off my chest.
After sitting through testimony from people who once considered Randall family, he stood and told the court through tears, "I'm sorry for all the pain all this has caused. I didn't want any of this." Randall's lawyer says he's genuinely remorseful for what happened, exemplified by his guilty plea. The defense also argues Randall was experiencing drug-induced psychosis when he stabbed the girls, adding there was zero motive for this crime. Kai Randall has been sentenced to life in prison with no parole for 12 years. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The chief of Tsuut'ina Nation in southern Alberta is facing sexual assault charges in connection with 2 offenses in our city more than 20 years ago. Edmonton police say last fall officers were notified of a sexual assault against a 33-year-old man near 178th Street and 87th Avenue in 1994. As officers investigated, they learned of another assault against a 38-year-old man near Stony Plain Road and 178th Street in 2005. Yesterday, 71-year-old Roy Albert Whitney was arrested by Edmonton police officers in Calgary. He is charged with 2 counts of sexual assault. In a statement, Whitney says he unequivocally denies the allegations. Whitney's lawyer confirms he will not be stepping down as chief.
These allegations, again, shouldn't take the nation's eye off their business that they're supposed to be doing. I look at it this way. Anyone who's put this much of his life into the nation to build it up to what it is now certainly doesn't want to be seen as someone who's going to back down from a fight, and he's not that kind of person.
Edmonton police believe there could be more complainants and say they want to hear from them. After receiving new information, Edmonton police are investigating a death previously thought to be non-criminal. In June 2024, Dwight Bennett went into medical distress at the Blue Quill Garden Apartments. The 39-year-old later died in hospital. Because the original call for medical help was for medical help, police did not investigate. In May, they received new information leading them to meet with the medical examiner. The death has now been ruled a homicide. The cause is being withheld for investigative reasons. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. And a fire at a home under construction in southwest Edmonton is being looked at as possible arson. Edmonton Fire Rescue was called to 190th Street and 20th Ave just after 6:30 a.m. At one point, firefighters had to be pulled because of a compromised floor. No injuries have been reported. The torch has been passed within the Alberta RCMP's K Division as Trevor Daru has been named Deputy Commissioner of the country's second largest RCMP force.
We know that we can't serve the community unless our people are taken care of. So we're going to work very hard to ensure that our people have the support networks that they need to have. And secondly, the other priority that we have that's equal to that is our communities. It's our communities that decide whether they're safe or they're not.
Alberta RCMP's newest commanding officer spent the last 8 years of his 37-year policing career with the Mounties. He comes into the role after serving as the province's criminal operations officer. He takes over command of K Division from outgoing Deputy Commissioner Rob Hill, who spent 27 years with the RCMP.
We police 75% of Canada's landmass and about 22% of the population. That strength alone of getting a message out to law enforcement that's covering 75% of this country is a strong message.
Bruce says that although governed by a national body, his officers take pride in catering to the policing needs of each individual community in Alberta. A possible referendum question about Alberta's separation was part of a special court hearing today. At the request of Alberta's chief electoral officer, a judge is now considering whether the question violates the Constitution. As CTV's Alicia Fieldberg reports, experts say this is the latest obstacle in an uphill battle.
While some wonder whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada, the person in charge of Alberta elections wonders whether the wording of a proposed referendum question should even be allowed on a ballot. The province's chief electoral officer asked a judge to weigh in on whether or not it violates the Constitution.
This is nothing more or less than an attempt at delay, and from our perspective, it's an abusive process.
The question proposed by separatist group Alberta Prosperity Project: do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province in Canada? The Premier and Justice Minister pushed back against the electoral officer, now saying Alberta's government believes that the proposal is not unconstitutional and therefore should be approved and permitted to proceed.
For a first time in the history of this province and probably in Canada, Premier and the Minister of Justice, who's a lawyer himself, have decided to direct the Elections Commissioner on what he should and should not do.
Well, we don't think that the province is lining up on our side with this matter. They're simply saying that there's legislation in place that's clearly intended to have Albertans vote on issues of public importance.
And that's why Luke Hasek has his own petition underway to ask whether Alberta should remain in Canada rather than separate.
The vast majority of us want nothing to do with it. We want to focus on what's good for Canada, what's good for Alberta, and frankly, what's good for Canada internationally.
While in Calgary, Canada's Conservative leader suggested focusing on the energy sector instead.
And what they're saying is the era of pay up and shut up has got to come to an end. Alberta deserves a better deal within Canada. And one of the ways we make that happen, one of the ways we unite our country, is to produce our resources.
Experts say the battle over the possible referendum questions is just a sample of the long, expensive process separation would involve.
There are exit routes out of Canada, but they would be painful, protracted, and unbelievably costly to the people of Alberta in ways that this province has to have a serious conversation about.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
The judge is expected to make his decision next week. The people behind the two possible questions need to gather enough signatures on their petitions, and it's possible there could also be a court battle over whether both questions are allowed on a ballot. Blue-green algae has been found at Wizard Lake southwest of Edmonton. Alberta Health Services says you should stay away from blooms and rinse off immediately if you come into contact with one. The blooms look like fuzz or globs on the surface of the water, and they can be a variety of colors, not just blue and green. AHS says areas where blooms are not visible could still be used for recreation, even while the advisory is in place. There are currently blue-green algae advisories for 8 lakes, including Wizard Lake, within an hour-and-a-half radius of Edmonton. Thousands of athletes are now competing at the 2025 Alberta Indigenous Games in Edmonton.
Get a bit of everything. It's like get better at basketball, get cool experiences, maybe go to post-secondary, stuff like that. Yeah.
Some early action included the tip-off of basketball at the St. FX Sports Centre. Other sports that get going tonight include soccer, ball hockey, and softball. Today marks the first of a 10-day competition that features more than 7,000 Indigenous athletes competing in 18 different sports.
Everyone in Sixiga eats, sleeps, and drinks basketball. Yeah, every single day, play every single day, go to every single tournament. They even go to the States for tournaments.
Basketball, soccer, softball, and ball hockey continue tomorrow and run through the weekend. Athletics, beach volleyball, golf, and flag football begin Monday. The Edmonton Riverhawks are headed to the playoffs. The Hawks secured the North Division title in Victoria last night. With home field advantage, they'll play 2 of 3 games here in Edmonton if required. The Hawks play their first playoff game in Victoria tomorrow. The first home game is Saturday evening. Those tickets are on sale now. If a third game is needed, it will be at Remax Field on Sunday afternoon. Rogers Place will transform into a roller disco next weekend. It's part of a partnership with Rollers Roller Rink. There are 2 options for the event next Saturday: a family skate from 3 to 5 p.m. and an 18-plus disco night from 6 to 8. Roller skate rentals will be available. Both events will include upbeat music, lighting effects, a giant scoreboard disco ball, and food and drink service. Tickets are available online. Well, tonight marks the start of a sold-out Edmonton Folk Fest. For many fans, the journey to the hill at Gallagher Park started more than 6 hours ago. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us now from Folk Fest. Miriam, what's the atmosphere like there right now?
Well, Jeff, people are so excited walking around. There's thousands of people walking around, and there was some on and off again rain earlier today, but it didn't dampen people's spirits. Thousands of people have been waiting in line for the tarp lottery since noon. This is a look right now of all the people that have gathered here today ready for the show, and we did get a chance to speak with some of the first people in line that were waiting to get here, some dedicated festival goers.
I don't even look at who's coming. I just come because it's always good.
Dale Marr and Carol Young have been coming to Folk Fest for 20 years. They've come prepared for what the night has in store.
Lots of raincoats.
Lots of rain gear.
Lots of stuff wrapped in plastic.
Thousands have come out for the tarp lottery, hoping to snag the best spot on Gallagher Hill. Waiting in line for the lottery is a big part of the experience, even for City Councillor Andrew Knack.
I've never done the lottery before, so this is my first time trying this out. I've been to Folk Fest before, but never this way.
There's planning and strategizing ahead of time.
It is animalistic in there. People, you come out with scratches. Everyone is dying to be the first one on the tarp. So we have to get here early so we can get all the same ticket, because that's the way we like to do it. So we all get the same spot in the secondary line.
The sold-out event will see dozens of artists on the stage for a music-filled weekend. The festival is a summer staple, and for some, a rite of passage.
I feel like I am now becoming an Edmontonian today. Like I've lived here for 23 years, but now this is the moment.
People here for the tarp lottery say it's all worth it in the end to score the best spot on the hill.
Well, it's something that we like to do, and being first is important, yes, for us. We've been doing this 32 years in a row.
Indigenous artist Asanabi will be hitting the stage at 6:30, so anytime now, and that's going to be before Serena Ryder hits the stage at 8 o'clock. And so lots of people are here for such a good time, and the festival will be running all weekend long. It is a sold-out event, so it's going to be very busy, and wraps up on Sunday. Jeff?
All right, thanks, Miriam. It's Miriam Valdez-Carletti live at Gallagher Hill for us tonight. All right, Josh, everybody I know that's going to Folk Fest right now has been looking forward to it forever, and they don't mind if it's raining, if it's sunny. It's all good. They're just excited to be there.
Yeah, well, that's good because it's going to rain. We'll show you the Skycam shot here in a second. All of a sudden, it has gotten really dark just off to the northwest of the city of Edmonton. There's a line of showers, and I think we may even have to watch out for some fairly strong wind gusts just out ahead of that. Right now, the wind is out of the west at about 20 kilometers per hour. Gusts through this afternoon have been about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. We're at 19. Daytime high today was 20, but that was just after midnight. We've been in the 18, 19 degree range through most of this afternoon. So just slightly cooler than average, 23, the average daytime high. That's what it looks like right now on Skycam. You can see in the middle of that frame there where it gets really, really dark, that is rain. So there is sunshine right now on the hill and in parts of the city, but that's going to change in short order here. I think over the course of the next hour, we'll see that roll northwest to southeast across the city. Why are we showing you this? Well, our systems have been having issues with the Carvel radar, and so it's not actually displaying for us. So this is from Environment Canada. You can see from St. Albert back through sort of the MON on Edmonton, just on the northwest corner of the city. That's moving off to the southeast, so it will sweep across the city of Edmonton, despite the fact you can't see it on this radar map. There are some thunderstorms elsewhere around the province. North of Cold Lake, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for some sizable hail and some heavy downpours, and then still that rainfall warning for areas west and northwest of Edmonton. So more showers tonight. Could be some periods of heavier rain for a while later on this evening, and then tomorrow morning, some more rain tapering off to scattered showers in the afternoon. Full look at your forecast. We'll update you on that line of showers in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, a special choir. Vulnerable men making music.
They got very, very beautiful voices, especially all combined together.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A local choir is giving vulnerable men a place to belong and to showcase their singing skills. CTV's Sasha Pietramala has more on what the group means to one man and the community.
For Lloyd Willett, the Edmonton Downtown Choir isn't just a space to sing.
When it sounds like this and I'm part of it, I feel sort of like I did something important.
Willett has been singing with the men's choir for 10 years.
They know my foibles and my ups and downs, they're my friends.
The men's choir got its start in 2012 thanks to Eva Bostrand.
I'm me and I'm the conductor and they are the singers and we have a good time together. I like bantering with the guys a bit.
She created the group to give vulnerable men a place to belong.
We want to be available for people who otherwise do not have a chance to be in a choir.
We started out as a bunch of ragtag, throw together downtown leftovers who just sort of came together.
The 60s song Downtown is their signature song.
There's nothing better than singing in front of an audience that really needs to hear some cheerful music.
They got very, very beautiful voices, especially all combined together. It just sounds so awesome together.
And getting to perform outside makes it even more special.
It's always special when we're here in the park. We've got an audience. We always have people wandering by looking at us and stuff.
Things will be great when you're downtown.
For Willett, being able to provide a bit of joy for strangers is what fulfills him these days.
Hope. Because the best things in life, they say, are free. And I think the most successful people in the world want to give back and do the right thing. That's why I sing.
Sasha Pietramala, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Alberta man says he's out nearly 25,000 air miles after they were removed from his account. Those points were worth close to $8,000. He says the loyalty program never warned him his account had become inactive. As CTV's Mark Villani reports, he's calling on the company to make things right.
Todd Woodbeck has been collecting air miles for over 30 years, but says his longtime loyalty was erased in a flash.
I was very angry. Very angry. I mean, I picked up the phone immediately and called Air Miles.
Woodbeck says he hadn't used his Air Miles card in some time until earlier this year when he swiped it at a Shell gas station. He got 2 miles for that purchase, but when he logged into his account, nearly 25,000 points were gone. The equivalent of about $8,000 vanished because of more than 2 years of inactivity. Woodbeck had also spent over $1,500 buying extra miles for travel, now all lost.
I mean, come on, a loyal customer for 35 plus years.
Air Miles confirms the points were not expired but retired due to inactivity. To maintain an active account, collectors must earn, redeem, or transfer miles within 24 months. If no activity occurs, the account will be considered inactive. As part of our commitment to transparency, collectors are proactively notified before any changes to their account status.
They have my address, they have my phone number. I never got anything in the mail. I never got a call.
Loyalty rewards experts say cases like Woodbeck's aren't uncommon, but they serve as a wake-up call for all collectors to stay engaged with their accounts.
I tell a lot of people to treat their loyalty program accounts kind of like their bank accounts, that you should be checking them, relatively frequently. And it's not just for the expiry, it's even for fraud.
The warning comes as other programs also make big changes. Starting January 1st, 2026, Aeroplan will base points on dollars spent rather than distance flown.
People have to learn about the changes to see how it affects them as far as their spending habits.
But Woodbeck hopes his spending didn't go to waste, encouraging others to stay vigilant and calling on Air Miles to reimburse him.
Do the right thing.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Coming up, fighting wildfires and misinformation.
Often the images that we've seen are making the fires that they're purporting to be about look way worse than they are in reality.
AI making fire information officers' jobs difficult.
A line of rain, which looks pretty ominous on that shot right now, getting set to make its way across the city from northwest to southeast. Some more showers tomorrow, and then warmer and sunnier for the weekend. All those details after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
As wildfires force people from their homes from coast to coast, there are concerns about a rise in misinformation about emergencies. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has more on the impact of AI-generated photos of fires being shared online.
Captivating images of wildfires. The photos so realistic that those in charge of wildfire management are worried they could impact how people respond to natural disasters.
People might make decisions based on those images, or be more fearful because of those images, or not take our warning seriously.
The photos are generated by artificial intelligence. The BC Wildfire Service says it noticed them in the last few weeks on Facebook during the peak of the wildfire season.
Wildfires are already, or can be, a really scary time for people. There can be a lot of anxiety around that. People can be unsure about what to do or what's happening. So anytime that we see potentially adding more fear or anxiety when it's not needed, we're concerned about that.
This is an AI image of the Drought Hill wildfire in Peachland. Here's what it actually looks like.
Often the images that we've seen are making the fires that they're purporting to be about look way worse than they are in reality.
In January, as wildfires tore through Los Angeles, AI images of the iconic Hollywood sign engulfed in flames were shared online.
It's irresponsible for people to put out these types of images. You can be costing people's lives because of putting out fake news like that.
One UBC scientist says he worries AI will be misused.
I predict that, it's only going to become harder from here. That the use of these technologies will become much more pervasive because it's becoming accessible and the models are only getting better. And I think the awareness and the education around these should really be happening right now.
So the message that I have to British Columbians is please be cautious of where you get your information. Be aware of AI-generated content.
The province is urging people to turn to trusted sources of information instead, such as local media, governments, and First Nations. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Definitely not AI generated, that Skycam shot that you've been showing.
Yeah.
So the cloud's advancing on the city.
Which doesn't look as ominous anymore as you look outside right now. I mean, it's still fairly dark and some really low cloud bottoms on that. That's the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed rider, it's free. 19 degrees right now in Edmonton after hitting a high of 20 earlier in the day. This would be a really nice day to have our radar working. Hopefully it's back tomorrow. This is from the Environment Canada website. You can see from St. Albert off to the north and then back here to the west and just south of Highway 16. There's a bit of a break in between these two, and it actually, as these are moving in this direction, it actually looks like, and go back to Skycam for a second, it actually looks like it's kind of breaking a little bit, and this first part is going over North Edmonton, and this is kind of sweeping over the southwest corner. So, I mean, people at Folk Fest may actually kind of luck out here, and you may have the worst of these showers split right around you. Yes, it does still look fairly dark over downtown and off to the northeast. No lightning strikes, though, with this, and the rain doesn't look like it's coming down all that heavily in most of those cells. So over the course of the next little bit, though, we will see some more showers slide through the city. 25 in Cold Lake for a high today. 23 Grand Prairie, Peace River. We got to 20 in Red Deer and Edmonton. You have severe thunderstorm watches in yellow. That black zone there around Claresholm, that's a tornado warning. We don't have any confirmation that it's on the ground right now, but based on what we're seeing on radar, it does look like there is potentially a tornado in that area. And this warning here north of Cold Lake, I think, is probably going to get ended in the next little bit. This will likely stick around, this rainfall warning, until early tomorrow as the rain continues through at least the first half of the day. Take a look at these thunderstorms here north of Cold Lake that prompted the warning. You can see we've lost the pinks and purples on that. It has really weakened significantly. So I think that warning is going to get ended in the next little bit. You also have some non-severe thunderstorms here in through the Peace Country that are moving back to the south. Everything's kind of wrapping around this low pressure system, moving in a counterclockwise direction around there. So stuff out to the east is moving to the north. Stuff on the backside is moving further to the south. And that is what we're expecting to get here in the Edmonton area and west of the city overnight tonight and off and on through tomorrow morning. Just some occasional bands of showers from around Edmonton west. Looks most likely to be wet tomorrow morning. In the afternoon, focus will be in eastern Alberta, here in the Edmonton region, just scattered occasional showers through the afternoon hours, and then some clearing for Saturday. Things finally settle down, unless you're in eastern Alberta, where you will see some scattered thunderstorms again late Saturday. 19 degrees right now in downtown Edmonton. We'll see temperatures tomorrow pretty close to what we had today, mid-teens in the morning and about 19 or 20 for a high in the afternoon. Best chance for some steadier rain comes through the morning hours, and then it backs off to hit and miss showers in the afternoon. Mid-20s and a little sunshine breaking through the clouds for Saturday, Sunday. Looks like we'll see some heat early next week, 26s or 27s for daytime highs, and then another little cool down for the middle to the end of next week.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, a Canadian premier asked by an American journalist what Canadians think of President Trump.
He's probably the most disliked politician in the world in Canada.
Backlash against the states as tariffs rise on several countries. And
we want our people out of Gaza. We want our hostages out. We want our soldiers out.
Reaction to Israel's prime minister wanting to occupy all of Gaza.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. This summer with the world's largest egg and spoon race, August 30th in Vegreville. Registration is now open.
Donald Trump is bragging about the billions of dollars a month that will flow into U.S. coffers as more than 60 countries feel the pain of today's round of reciprocal tariffs. There is backlash in the U.S. and elsewhere, with countries moving away from trade with the states. CTV's Michael Couture reports.
Yes, we're having discussions with the Americans.
Prime Minister Carney wouldn't say when he'll next speak to U.S. President Donald Trump, but Ontario's premier didn't mince words when asked about how Canadians see the American leader.
He's probably the most disliked politician in the world in Canada.
In an interview on CNN, Doug Ford tried to explain to Americans that these tariffs are hurting them.
When you see 37,000 Americans have lost their jobs, that can't pay the rent or can't pay a mortgage, put food on their table, and this is just going to grow even more.
A new report from Yale University shows the current tariffs will hit American consumers.
We're expecting an adjustment of about over $2,000 to, their real household income and sort of purchasing power.
The impact could be felt in back-to-school shopping, as the tariffs will make shoes 40% more expensive, and the price of other clothes will rise by 38% because of import duties. Meantime, the impact on Canada's economy is being measured by the Royal Bank. In June, 92% of Canadian exports crossed into the U.S. duty-free because they are covered under the current trade agreement, leaving 8% subject to punishing tariffs.
That portion of trade is unfortunately facing an average tariff rate of 30%.
Still, the overall impact on the Canadian economy is relatively small at this point, but sectors like steel and aluminum continue to suffer. While campaigning ahead of his by-election in Alberta, Pierre Poilievre criticized Carney's handling of the trade talks.
He's been bending over backwards for the president and so far has gotten nothing in return.
Now, Prime Minister Carney continues to say he will speak to the U.S. president when it makes sense, but there is no clear indication of exactly when that could be. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Girl Guides of Canada is halting all trips to the U.S. starting this September. The organization says the decision was made to ensure the safety and inclusion of all members. Some are not Canadian citizens and may face challenges at the border. The suspension applies to all trips, including those that were already approved. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with his security cabinet today as he considers plans to occupy the Gaza Strip. Ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas broke down last month. It comes as the humanitarian crisis grows in Gaza, with nearly 200 people dying of famine and malnutrition, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Demonstrations erupting in Jerusalem outside the building where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with his security cabinet today to discuss expanding the military operation in Gaza, according to an Israeli official. Some families of the hostages still being held by Hamas speaking out against the plan.
We don't want to see that. We want our people out of Gaza. We want our hostages out. We want our soldiers out. And we don't want any potential settlers in.
According to the UN, there are currently close to 2 million Palestinians who are living in Gaza and facing a growing humanitarian crisis with an extreme lack of food and relentless strikes from Israel. This woman saying, "We've heard that they want to occupy Gaza. What is left to occupy?" Netanyahu saying after taking control of Gaza temporarily, they'd hand it over to another governing body in an interview with Fox News.
We don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life. That's not possible with Hamas.
Hamas calling Netanyahu a war criminal, saying what he's planning is a continuation of the policy of genocide and forced displacement. Aerial images show the scale of destruction in Gaza. This morning alone, more than 24 Palestinians killed in an Israeli strike, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. And haunting images show malnourished children. Crowds of Palestinians gathering with pots and plastic containers, hoping to collect soup from a charity kitchen. This young girl crying as she waits. Israel began allowing aid back into Gaza in May, but humanitarian organizations say whatever is going in right now is far from enough. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Canadian tennis player Victoria Mboko is the champion at the National Bank Open.
The maiden of Montreal. At just 18 years of age, Victoria Mboko completes a magnificent run to her first tour title.
The 18-year-old beat Naomi Osaka in 3 sets for her first career WTA Tour Championship. She's the first Canadian to win the tournament since Bianca Andreescu in 2019. Mboko is now projected to rise to 25th in the world rankings. She began the year outside the top 300. The Vancouver Whitecaps have landed the biggest player in club history, signing former Bayern Munich star Thomas Mueller. Mueller is reportedly joining the team this season and will have a designated player option for 2026. The 35-year-old soccer star scored 250 goals across his career at Bayern, where Edmonton's Alphonso Davies plays. Mueller says Davies told him a lot of good things about the city and the Whitecaps, where Davies started his career. Mueller helped to bring a World Cup to Germany in 2014. A zoo in the Czech Republic is celebrating the birth of 4 Barbary lion cubs, a subspecies that's extinct in the wild. The 3 females and 1 male are spending most of their time with their mother and father right now. The zoo is part of an international endangered species program, meaning the cubs will soon be sent to other participating parks. Experts say the births of these young cats is crucial for a small surviving population of the rare lion. Fewer than 200 are living in captivity. Coming up on CTV News, retuning a musical park.
Music is good for the soul, and it allows people to be creative.
Renovations planned for a Red Deer staple, plus.
It's a time to reflect on what we've done in the last 40 years, but also start to look forward.
The Royal Tyrrell Museum celebrating decades of dinosaurs on display.
Programming brought to you by Southview Acura. For family-owned, award-winning excellence, Southview Acura, where luxury meets reality.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil lost 47 cents, ending the day at $63.88 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $20 on the day. The TSX closed down 159 points. The Dow Jones was down 224. After a decade of serving the community through music, the attraction at Kerrywood Nature Park in Red Deer will be getting an upgrade. CTV's Sasha Pietramala has more on its future.
In the midst of a busy park is a place open to all kinds of sound.
Music is good for the soul, and it allows people to be creative.
The Kiwanis Harmony Gardens has welcomed people to connect with nature through the universal language of music for a decade.
People of all ages and people of all abilities can access and make music.
The instruments were first installed in 2015 at the Kerrywood Nature Centre.
The park gets a tremendous amount of use. It gets general visitation from the public throughout the week and on the weekends. Our day camp kids use it.
Now, the park is looking ahead to next year, as it's expected to be refreshed.
This is an opportunity to repair those instruments, to refurbish those instruments, and potentially to add to the inventory of instruments in the park.
The Kiwanis Club says investing in the program was a no-brainer.
Kiwanis is all about the children. And so this was a great opportunity for us to provide something tangible for the children to play with in nature.
Whether you want to play or listen, there is something in the park for people of all ages and musical abilities. Organizers hope the park serves as an educational tool.
The arts and nature is such a natural blending. And the arts and nature are often two pieces of the educational puzzle that get potentially set aside.
Locals who have fond memories of playing those original instruments still have time to visit before the park's upgrade sometime next year.
We just feel that it's an important investment in our community to have this opportunity.
Sasha Pietramala, CTV News, Red Deer.
The Royal Tyrrell Museum will be celebrating its 40th anniversary in September.
So much about this museum is about once-in-a-lifetime events and once-in-a-lifetime opportunities.
The museum opened September 25th, 1985 to showcase fossils found in Alberta. In honor of the anniversary, the museum launched a new exhibit called Breakthroughs, which explores 5 discoveries that changed our understanding of ancient animals. The exhibit will have discoveries on display that were the first or the only known specimens of their kind. The museum says this anniversary is a great reminder of the importance of Alberta in paleontology, as we have one of the top fossil deposits in the world.
It's a time to reflect on what we've done in the last 40 years, but also start to look forward. Most museums, their collections come from other places. Most of their exhibits come from other places. For us at the Royal Tyrrell Museum, what we display comes from our collection, and it comes from Alberta.
The museum is also hosting an 80s-themed silent disco October 18th and will have pop-up exhibits at various locations across Alberta. For more information on the museum or these events, visit tyrrellmuseum.com. An iconic musician is joining the fun surrounding the upcoming sequel to This is Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap released this video with Elton John. The song they're playing, called Stonehenge, will be featured in the upcoming movie. The movie and an accompanying album will come out September the 12th. The 13-track album will also feature music from Paul McCartney and Garth Brooks. Still to come, cross-border embrace.
These are 2 communities that we need to make sure that the friendship stays in place no matter what's happening in other parts of the world.
From handshakes to hugs, how this international celebration is providing some comfort in a time of uncertainty.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
The trade war with the U.S. has increased tension along our southern border. 2 towns, one in New Brunswick, the other just over the border in the state of Maine, are hugging it out, carrying on a summertime tradition during trying times. CTV's Nick Moore reports.
The Canadians came from their side, the Americans from their side, meeting in the middle to sing their national anthems, shake hands, and then mingle.
This has been a long tradition.
There was a lot of hugging, too. We Hug It Out is actually the theme for this year's International Homecoming Festival between St. Stephen, New Brunswick and Calais, Maine, leaning into these interesting times.
And it's just good to get back and understand that we are one community, and it's good to see that we are one community.
We have a lot of family on both sides, and to have us all together, it's just heartwarming.
The meet and greet on the Ferry Point International Bridge has kicked off this festival since 1974, and organizers weren't quite sure what to expect for 2025 given the trade war.
To have people come out from both sides of the border to celebrate this occasion, especially this year, I just think there was a lot of questions how things would go, but I'm just so pleased.
It's certainly a nice salve to some of the frustrations and challenges we've been feeling.
New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt and Maine State Representative Arthur Mingo were some of the dignitaries who took part.
These are 2 communities that we need to make sure that the friendship stays in place no matter what's happening in other parts of the world.
It's just nostalgia. It's something I've always known and something I hope keeps going.
It's great to see people of all ages, and just seeing us all get along is amazing.
It's a really fantastic event for everybody in the community.
Nick Moore, CTV News, on the border of Calais, Maine, St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
We've had that band of rain sliding northwest to southeast across the city, and there are a few more scattered showers off to the west-northwest that'll go through the Edmonton area before tonight is done. More showers tomorrow as well. Could see some pockets of steadier rain in the morning. Should break down to just hit and miss showers in the afternoon hours tomorrow. We'll get to about 20 for a daytime high. Drier and warmer through the weekend. Back into the mid-20s for Saturday, Sunday, and early next week. And back to a bit of sunshine as well. So today and tomorrow were your gloomy, rainy, cooler days. back to some
That wasn't
heat
so bad.
on the weekend.
Yeah.
We needed the moisture.
Exactly. Loved it out there. Thanks, Josh, and thanks for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, you can visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca or the CTV channel on YouTube. See ya.